Everyone thinks the bench press is the best exercise to build a big chest, but I never believed that. After 7 years of training, I have fully built my chest with just push-ups and dips. I have found out that these 3 variations are the best ones to build mass in your chest. First, we have deficit weighted push-ups. Now, the deficit weighted push-up is an exercise that could be insanely hard for most individuals trying out this exercise because, first off, a regular push-up is not that difficult for most people. But the moment when we take an average lifter, an average calisthenics athlete, and we put him, not an average calisthenics athlete actually, let me take that back, an average lifter who practices bench press a lot, and we take him through the deficit push-up to where you are stretching more, most of the time, they do not stand a chance of even doing 12 reps. So that's just exactly why the push-up is so reliable. You can do it, first of all, anywhere. It's very easy to actually overload if you do it correctly, which I'm about to get into in a second. And third off, the overall movement pattern of this exercise can be modified to fit your body perfectly. Now, when we look at the deficit push-ups, the reason why it's so damn hypertrophic and why it builds muscle so quickly, and why I literally always get sore from this exercise, is because the stretch is maximized to the fullest potential. There are a couple of key components and key tips that I want you to keep in mind when you do this exercise. The best way of doing this exercise is by using the stretch not where your arms are tucked in, but actually flared out. When your elbows are a little bit more flared out than usual, than what you're actually kind of used to, most people used to, I guess, you're gonna be stretching your chest out more. The more you tuck in, the less you stretch your chest. So if you want to stretch your chest to the maximum potential and actually get like a real deep tear type of feeling in your chest, then make sure that you're actually doing flared out push-ups. Now, I don't want you to do the flared out push-ups throughout the whole range of motion. I want you to do the flared out push-ups only at the bottom position. So when you're doing a push-up, start flat, start with your elbows fully tucked in, and the moment when you go down and when you're at that deepest stretch position, that is actually when you want to flare your elbows out the most. And the best way of doing that is by staying in there for like 2 or 3 seconds to feel that stretch to the maximum potential. This exercise is all about utilizing that stretch to be able to gain more muscle. And for every single serious individual who wants to genuinely go from skinny to jacked, not only build their chest, but also their back, their legs, their arms, shoulders, the entire body with calisthenics, with ring training, body weight training, weighted calisthenics, do everything correct, go to the top link in the description. That's my personal program and community where you can actually go from skinny to jacked within 6 months time. Top link in the description. I'll see you inside. I'm excited for you to be in there. Now, when it comes to the overload aspect of it, to progressively overload, because that's also part of training, of course, we want to first off focus on how deep can we go, because day number 1, you're maybe not even going to be able to go as deep as you can go within 2 weeks from now. So just practice how deep you can actually go, and the more depth you actually hit each and every single rep, the more you'll start to find out that your reps are going to drop drastically. And when your reps are going to drop drastically, now you want to just build it up again towards 8 to 12 reps. And the moment you have done that, this is when you're now going to be adding in just a little bit of weight on your back, and you can restart the whole process again. I am currently right now at 30 kg, which is like 66 pounds, I think. 66 pounds of deficit push-ups, and I'm doing about 8 reps per set. And the negative is extremely slow. Stop thinking that you need to do a lot of reps to build a lot of muscle. What I need you to do is spend a lot of seconds in that negative aspect, hold the stretch at the bottom, and explode back up. That combination, those 3 things, will build your chest to the maximum potential if you progressively overload over time. Now let's go into the second exercise, and this exercise is extremely important. This should be your main foundational exercise that you need to get down right now, and it's the ring weighted push-up. Now, the reason why I use rings so frequently in my training and why I've basically became a ring channel is because they are the best muscle building hypertrophy tool that you can have into your routine. By the way, for the best rings in the game, if you actually want to start ring training today, the best rings that you can get right now is in the second link in the description. Go to gorenation.com, use bars 10, and get your rings. Get every single thing that you want to get off of the website, of course, but the rings and the weight vest is something that I use the most frequent. Go ahead and get that. Second link in the description. The rings are so reliable because we are now able to freely move. One thing that a lot of people seem to have a problem with when it comes to calisthenics is that they cannot freely move their hands when they're doing exercises. And I totally agree. Like, sometimes when you're doing your dips or your push-ups, you cannot bring your hands closer together like an incline bench press, or you cannot like move your wrist freely like a tricep push down or certain isolation exercises that we do in the gym. But with rings, it destroys all of those problems. The moment when we have rings, we can now turn our wrist. We can bring the rings together to squeeze our chest more. We can bring them out to be able to stretch to the fullest potential. So let's now talk about what the best movement pattern is and what we want to do with the rings to correctly engage our chest for the entire movement. Because yes, you can do just regular push-ups like you are used to on the floor. Now on the rings, you will see some benefits from it. You're going to gain muscle, absolutely. But there's a better way of doing it, obviously, right? And that's after a little while, when you start to become a little bit more advanced and a little bit more comfortable on the rings. Now you can start to take this advice that I'm about to tell you right here. The movement pattern for this exercise is very, very precise. So when I start off this exercise, I start off with a close grip. So I basically almost have the rings touching together. And the moment when I go down, I slowly start to widen it up a little bit as I approach that deep stretch. The moment when I have approached that deep stretch, I have the rings fully spread out and also pronated or neutrally next to your body. And that's when you want to have your arms fully flared out, just like I explained with the deficit push-up. Now that way, you're going to be stretching your chest out to the fullest potential, but also, that's the beautiful thing about it, the exercise doesn't lack anything. You also have the squeeze to the fullest potential unlocked at the top. So what you want to do is start at a close grip, widen it all the way up, and the moment when you go down, fully squeeze that chest together, touch the rings, and then move on to the second rep. Do that twice a week for about 6 to 8 reps per set. Go all the way to failure. Drop set it with body weight. If you can't do weighted yet, just do normal body weight reps. Your chest is going to explode. Everything that I explain here, I have put in a single program, blueprint, and course for you to go from skinny to jacked within 6 months. For every single individual watching this video right now, if you are that serious individual, which you probably are, top link in the description, Jacked by Calisthenics. That's my personal course where I want you to just follow the entire thing, implement as you go, and see results, because you will be the one that's going to be sending me these messages, and I will be seeing them, and I'll just be excited because of it. So make sure that you actually follow the entire thing once you are in there, and I'll see you sending these messages very, very soon. Now we have the third exercise, and that's going to be weighted dips, but weighted dips on the rings and also extremely deep. What most people understand is, yes, weighted dips is very good for chest growth. They work the chest, they grow your chest. But one thing that they never really seem to understand is that the deepness of the dip is where the benefit actually lies. When you focus on dips extremely deep on every single rep that you're doing with the dip, that is when the most gains are going to be made, because the dip is perfect for that stretch. Yes, you can go down to 90 degrees when you're doing some heavy ass dips, but I don't want you to do heavy ass dips because we're going to get more out of less weight. So strip down the ego and the weight that you are using right now, and then focus as much as you can on just deepening that dip more and more every single session, to the point where your shoulders are almost underneath the dip bar. Now yes, for most people that mobility is not going to allow you to do that, but after a little while of you implementing this, you're going to start to learn how to go deeper and deeper and deeper, just like you see me doing right here in the video. When you focus on that every single week, and you do this twice a week with the other exercises that I'm telling you to do, you're going to gain mass. Now the dip is an exercise that you can progressively overload very nicely, because you only need a dip belt and that's it. The beautiful thing about it is we can just add weight just like it's a bench press, just like it's a dumbbell press. We can go all the way down, all the way up, and we don't have to have plates on our back or plates on our body, whatever. We just have to have a weight belt. We can add plates whenever we want to the weight belt, and we can progressively overload like that. That is why it's so effective. And then the second beautiful thing about it is we can actually, just like the push-up as I just explained on the rings, we can bring the rings together at the top a little bit, and we can widen it up at the bottom for more stretch and more tension at the top. So rings are quite literally the best change that you're ever going to make. Just like this member who recently got his rings from my discount code, and he is now working insanely hard with the program. So I want you to do the exact same thing. Get your rings and then hop in the program immediately and start gaining muscle every single week reliably. I'm gonna be actually there to personally help you. So if you have questions, go ahead and go over there right now, and I'll actually see what you are dealing with, and we're gonna be able to push through it and gain muscle reliably. So, what is the best tactic available when it comes to structuring these 3 exercises? Number 1, you actually want to have the most difficult exercise first, and that's different for everybody. But I do recommend it's going to be the dip. If you put the dip first, in my opinion, it's more effective than putting the other exercises first, because the dip is actually the more strength-focused exercise, and it has the least amount of stretch out of these 2 exercises. And when you prioritize a stretched exercise first, it could, I don't know if it's for everybody, but for me, me, that's usually the case, it could actually fuck you up for the next exercise that you're gonna do. So first pick up exercise that prioritizes that squeeze more, or that prioritizes like the upper portion more instead of the stretch. And then from there, you're gonna go to your heavy stretch based movements, and that's what you're gonna be overloading after them. So that should be the first exercise, the dip. You're gonna be doing 2 sets of this. 2 sets insanely hard to the point where you're not gonna be able to do a single rep after doing these 2 sets. That's how hard I want you to go. Same thing when it comes to the ring push-up and the deficit push-up. You wanna just be focusing each and every single set. You only need about 2 to go as hard as you physically can. Now, if you don't know exactly what training hard is and you haven't actually taken that step towards training hard, I have 2 modules in my program which are gonna exactly teach you how to train hard and what actual failure training really is. Now, after you have done that, then I immediately want you to watch this video, because this video is gonna be teaching you how to implement these 3 exercises with back exercises so that you have a complete chest and back workout for you to do twice a week.